Hey adventurers, so today is going to be another book tag. This is the Spring into Adventure tag, I believe is what it's called. I was tagged by Genre Books. I'll make sure I link their channel down below. So this has got 10 questions and number 11 is tag some people. I don't know who I'm going to tag, so we'll see who I do, who I end up grabbing at the end of this. I haven't prepared any answers beforehand, so I'm just going to read these questions. I was tagged a while ago, and so I'm trying to play a little bit of catch up with some tags. I don't know that I'll release them all in the order that I filmed them, but I will probably just start filming and release them when I need a video to release type thing. So anyways, let's go through this. So I've got question 1. What is your favorite adventure book? So for as many faults as The Rings of Power has, there's one line in that show, I think it's in that show, that I'm pretty sure it's Gandalf that says it to Nori, and he says that if you're alone, it's a journey, but if you're sharing it with other, or something like an adventure has to be shared. And so that kind of I like that line. I like that line, and it kind of has made me recontextualize some of the books. And so I'm going to try and approach it from that idea where if it's a single person, then it's not a adventure book, and we'll go from there. And so this first question, what is your favorite adventure book? I'm gonna go with The Hobbit. As of this moment, that's a fairly standard answer, but it's about Bilbo going on an adventure, and he is not alone. He goes with the 13 dwarves, and so he's not by himself, so it counts as an adventure. And so I'm going to use The Hobbit as my favorite adventure book as of right now. I could also use Lord of the Rings. They're basically interchangeable as to my favorite. What's the newest or most recently published adventure book that you've read? I am not positive. I'm going to... that means I need to look back at the books that I've read and see what I've read that's been recently published that would count as an adventure book. Nothing in 2024 counts. I know I've got to have one that I've read recently that was published recently, but none of them... I don't tend to read new releases that much, so I guess I could say, I don't know, if Gloves of Eons counts, it would be that one. That's by Andrew D. Meredith. I believe that's book 3 in the... Book 3 or book 4? Book 3. Yeah, that's book 3 of the Collation Saga. If it doesn't count, let's see, I read, it would have been January of last year that I read. Yeah, I'm going to either go with Gloves of Eons by Andrew D. Meredith, or I'm going to say The Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson, because that one I know is an adventure. And so I'm going to have to go with one of those two books because I don't read that many new releases. And so those are kind of the only ones that count. What is the oldest or earliest published adventure book that I've read? This one, I was gonna say Fantastes by George MacDonald, but that's a solo journey. That's a journey, and so I can't really say that. What is the oldest one? See, sometimes you can't just come into these tags unprepared. It would have to be one of the classics that I've read that would be considered an adventure. I mean, Green Knight doesn't work for 2 reasons. 1, because it's a single character. 2, because it wasn't published. At least it wasn't published until significantly later when it was translated. So that can't work. I haven't read maybe a Mark Twain or so let's see, what I've read, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. That one would count, but that's not that old. I know there's an old book that I'm not thinking of that I've read, but something like The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, or maybe what Charles Dickens books have I read that could count? I don't know that I've read any, because I don't think A Tale of Two Cities counts. I don't think so. I'm gonna have to go with The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn because I can't think of another one off the top of my head that could even count for this problem. So that's what I'm gonna have to go with as of right now. That's probably not accurate, but that's what I can think of. Who's your favorite adventure book author? That's obviously I want to say Tolkien, but that I don't know that I could. I don't know that I could say Sanderson because he doesn't just write adventure books in terms of this definition that I'm using, with a character going on a journey but sharing it with other characters is basically what I'm using for an adventure book. So my favorite adventure book author. How about Alexander Dumas? Three Musketeers definitely counts as an adventure book. So that could possibly be the oldest one. I'm not sure. I don't know what published dates are, but I'll go with Alexander Dumas. That's a reasonable answer. At least 3 of the D'Artagnan romance books are adventures or contain an adventure element to them. Count of Monte Cristo doesn't really, but it is kind of an adventure as well. And so, sure, I'll say Alexander Dumas for now. What's your favorite film adaptation of an adventure book? Princess Bride. Even though, yeah, I'm just gonna say Princess Bride by William Golding, I believe is the author of Princess Bride. So that's what I'm gonna say. Who's your favorite adventure book character? I definitely should have prepared for this one because now I'm drawing a blank on all these characters. Ooh, I could go with Matthias from the Redwall series. I like Matthias. He's a good character. So we'll just go with Matthias. Then I'm touching base with all my favorites, all my normal book things that I talk about. Do you prefer fiction or non-fiction adventure books? I have not read enough non-fiction adventure books to accurately answer this question. So because of that, I by default have to say fiction, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. I know a lot of stories. I've watched more like documentaries or movies or biopics or whatever of these famous characters than I have read their books. And so that would be, I can't say I can't say that it would be nonfiction because I just haven't read enough of it. So by default, it has to be fiction. Do you consider yourself adventurous? Why or why not? I don't know. I don't go on that many journeys. And when I do, sure, they could be considered adventures because I rarely go by myself, even though I'm fairly introverted and like to stay in my room reading books. So I like to do stuff, I do, and I like to get outside and go on adventures or journeys, but usually I don't do that many of them. So yes and no. I would like to be more than I am. We'll say it that way. Number 9, what's your favorite genre to combine with the adventure genre? Again, we just talked about the fiction versus nonfiction thing, so I'm going to have to go with fantasy because that's primarily what I've read in the adventure genre. Or Western. I like Westerns. A lot of time those are lone gunmen, though, so by definition they also don't count as adventures because they're journeys. That I'm gonna have to say fantasy again. Do you play or have you ever played adventure themed games, video games, board games, tabletop RPGs, etc.? The answer is yes, I have. I would like to do more. I haven't. I'm trying to think of what Jedi Fallen Order would count as a adventure. There's other games that would count as adventure games that I've played, but usually they are. Yes, I have. That's the answer. I just haven't played that many. I don't play a ton of games at the moment. I don't have time to. I'm busy doing other things or trying to read or trying to make videos about the things that I have tried to read type things. And so I at the moment, I don't have a ton of time for playing games, whether video games or tabletop or board games or anything. I don't have a ton of time to play games at the moment, even though I enjoy it. So that is the end of the tag other than number 11, which is tag some people. And so I'm going to, because he's new and fairly new, and he's been tagging me in all of his tags that he's done, I'm going to say Shannon's Shelf. That's somebody that I'm going to tag, and might as well, while I do it, tag his brother Liam. So Liam from Liam's Lyceum and Shannon from Shannon's Shelf, you two are tagged to do this one if you want to. And might as well do David Wiley. He hasn't posted a video in a while. Maybe this will make him post another one. I don't know. But at the time of filming, he hasn't posted in a while. I'll say it that way because I don't know when this video is going to go up. Those are my answers to the spring into adventure tag. Yeah, so hopefully that was less boring for you than it was for me, or at least you heard something interesting there, because I did not have any prepared answers. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys again soon. Stay warm.